to Coming Up Roses. I'm Kevin.
And I'm Kelly, and this is your Saturday, March 5th edition, episode 52.
52, the big 5-2.
The big 1 year extravaganza.
Yeah.
Can you believe it?
It's been a year. Recording this is great. I love doing this every week. It's something I look forward to. We kid around send us money and get your friends to watch so we can get sponsorships and everything, which, do that. But we just enjoy doing it. We get a lot out of it, just being able to talk about our life. We start to show those off with what's going on in our life. And we're mundane people. We're not, setting the world on fire. We're not doing anything that's crazy.
No, we're not adventure seekers. We're just regular, boring, ordinary people, like probably many people out there.
Sure.
And we probably maybe still have the same 5 listeners that were starting with us from the beginning.
Well, we consistently get about 20 to 20.
Really?
Yeah, because we always get like 15 or so on YouTube. And then you said there's usually about,
I think there's 6 or 7 Spotifyers.
Oh, really? I thought it was higher than that.
I don't know. I'll have to go look at the analytics.
Yeah. We haven't looked at the analytics.
I haven't checked the analytics in a while.
But we appreciate anybody that's been listening to us. And I took a little bit of time to watch all the other.
Look what Kevin did. He made notes. He came prepared.
I know.
Now, this is usually my notes. Mm-hmm. One little page that I jot down as we're sitting down. Kevin spent the last how many weeks?
Oh, several weeks.
Making notes.
I'm not done.
Buckle up, buttercups.
Yeah, I got up to episode 47 today, but I figured if you can just backtrack, or you can backtrack on any of our episodes.
They're all on YouTube.
Yeah, we're not gonna.
You can't get the whole library on Spotify. Sorry, I'm not going back and doing all that.
Yeah, that's a lot of work.
They are all there on YouTube. Even way back, the very first one when we were.
Well, there it is. There's the date and the title.
So, do you want me to read through these?
Well, we can just do a quick run over.
Well, no, yeah, it'll be good. We're going to fly by the seat of our pantses.
Yes.
All right, we started as Friday Night Chats.
Yep, started out Friday Night Chats. That was because we were going to do it on Friday nights at the time.
How we were such dreamers way back then.
Didn't realize that it would be difficult to put a show out every Friday.
We thought it would be
recording
so easy.
And putting it's not all that easy.
It isn't. It's not hard, but it is definitely a little time consuming.
Yeah.
Especially when you upload. Like, getting it to Spotify is a lot faster.
Because it's just audio.
It takes time to get it ready and up on YouTube and all of that. So episode 1 was called New Projects. It aired... It aired on 2/26/21, which is a little over a year ago. But
we just figured there was a couple of weeks where we skipped, like when my mom died, we skipped a week, which was very early.
Yeah.
And
so it says here we talked about what the pod. Sorry, I didn't mean to talk over top of you, and somebody's printing to something as we're recording our podcast. Yeah. So now we've got a microphone that's going to pick up all the sound. Mm-hmm. So we're going to get a lot of background noise, but that's okay. Basically how we met in our engagement story, and we were very excited about the upcoming flu shot. Yeah. Apparently. How times have changed.
Yeah.
Although I said today, boost me every other week if we need to get this mask off my face. Episode 2, the Neanderthals. Am I stealing your thunder here?
No,
I feel like you did all this work.
No, I'm loving the fact that you're reading it, yeah.
That was the 23andMe episode.
Mm-hmm.
Because I did a 23andMe. I got it for my birthday a couple years back?
Mm-hmm.
A year back? It was a year.
Yeah, it would have been a year ago.
Whatever. And then Kevin had his done, so we were comparing.
You got yours first. I gave it to you for
Did you
Christmas
put here, I was Irish and Neanderthal?
Yeah.
You typed Irish and Neanderthal.
Well, just as a quick rundown of what we talked about. Because, hers was, almost completely Irish. There was some German in there.
I'm so almost 100%.
Stuff. And then the thing that she was upset about, if you watch the episode, it was hilarious. She was, they said that she had a lot of Neanderthal.
Not a lot. I had 7
yeah.
Neanderthal traits, which turned out to be more than you have.
Yeah.
Who knew?
Yeah.
Incline railway story, yes, because that's a Neanderthal trait, to be afraid of heights.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's
I have
why we told that story, yeah.
Oh, Mom and Dad's new chairs. Gosh, they're a year old.
Yeah. I remember telling the story about that because we had to get help from Troy and his boy Ben. His son. And he's like a grown man now, so I guess I can't say that one anymore. Anyway, it was a good episode. We still learning our craft.
Episode 2.
Yeah, well, we weren't very good at our craft right yet.
Kevin was learning how to hand it all over to me and say, here you go, honey. Edit. Mm-hmm. You're good now about getting all the equipment set up. You've become the equipment guy, and I'm the technical editor person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is kind of cool.
And I can tell you're still looking at stuff because what keeps popping up on my Facebook feed is advertisements for different stuff.
Every now and then I'll just Google search podcast equipment. The good stuff's too expensive.
Yeah.
We did learn, though.
This is fantastic.
Okay. And someone, who was it?
Billy.
Not your brother, Billy, though.
No. Billy, I don't want to say his name.
Okay, yeah, one of our listeners
guy used to
early on was like...
earlier at Canon. So.
Invest in a Yeti.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't listen to that.
Yeah,
I didn't know it was there.
You're right, Bill.
And we tried a bunch of different mics, and it's just a pain in the ass. So we bought a Yeti. We spent $100.
Mm-hmm.
And it's great. I mean, I felt like the sound was much better.
Much better. Much better. So,
there's that.
Yeah.
Our question of the week is, who is your hero?
Yeah.
Okay, episode 3 was called Cars, COVID, and Music.
We got a new car.
We got the new car.
And that's when your
mom went in the hospital.
Yeah.
Remember, we got the new car, and we were so excited because it had a sunroof. And it doesn't have a sunroof. It has like a panoramic sunroof. It goes all the way to the back seat. You've seen it if you follow our show.
Yeah. It's been on the show, and you've seen the panoramic from.
We opened the actual glass of the sunroof. More printing. And we couldn't get it closed the very first day we had it. We had to go back to the dealership and say, we can't get it closed.
Yeah, that was a spirited episode because that was like we got the car, the stuff with my mom was going down. There was a whole adventure with the sunroof and the loaner car they gave us that was for shit. That one I basically had to fall into to get in. Jesus Christ.
Oh, sorry, I was just listening to the droning
printer,
hum of the printer.
See, in technical sport, you learn to drone that shit out.
Maybe we need to send our pod to Declan and have him clean it up. Episode 4 was the episode of your mom's passing. Yeah. So, that anniversary of that, the 1-year anniversary of that's coming up then. Yeah. She died on the 9th.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was quite an episode and quite a week. And again, go back and listen if you want, but my very proudest moment of a human being ever in my life. It stands as the most pride I ever felt in a person ever.
It was kind of a redemption thing for me because, and I talked about it in the episode, I didn't stand up for my dad's funeral, and I should have. I really should have. I just didn't have the capability at the time. And then when my mom passed, I felt like, you know what, I'm going to do it. I'm going to have to do this because
sometimes you have to push through the uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But actually, once I made the decision to do it, I was very comfortable with it.
Yeah, you did so good. Our next episode was called Karma and Gorilla Ass.
For Kong versus Godzilla, you were pissed because the very beginning of the movie, Kong's waking up in the morning and he scratches his ass.
So stupid.
I still enjoy the movie. It's monsters fighting.
No, we told the chicken dance story and the golf cart parking lot. I'm not retelling that story. You have to go back and listen. That's episode 5.
It's a great story.
This has nothing to do with it, but God's gorilla here made me think of Godzilla. One of my kids at school today just said, "Do you know Godzilla?" And I said, "Not personally, but I know who you're talking about." He had no clue. I mean, it just went, whoosh. And then I was like, "I'm just playing with you." I've never met him. And then another girl's like, "I've never met him either." I have 2 boys I probably shouldn't. I have 2 boys in my class with very interesting superhero names. And they're both superhero villains. And I overheard a conversation from...
Top tier villains, too.
Yeah.
Top tier villains.
I overheard a conversation from one of my superhero villains to the other one saying, hey, did you know that you have the same name as a bad guy on, Batman or whatever? And I just thought that was so funny.
That's great.
McRollo Spring Break. That was episode 6 when the McGuffs were in town.
Yep, we interviewed the boys. So, yeah.
Oh, Erica's shenanigans. That must have been when we were at the doctor's and we ran into her and we got our blood drawn.
That was a great story.
Was so
She's
funny.
Great. Erica, I hope you're watching because we love you to death, and that was just a great day for us.
And then it says ultrasound asshole.
You went to ultrasound.
Was that when the guy asked me if I was having a boy or a girl?
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy's an asshole. Yeah, just don't ever ask women that question. I'm 50 years old, for crying out loud. God, we bought the recumbent bike.
Yeah. And we were using it. We need to get back to it, honestly.
It's still sitting in the same place.
Yeah, but we need to get back on it, for reals.
Episode 8, Healthy Codependence.
That's when we got into, subject matter. And we're going to talk about this a little later on, but this is good stuff. And this is something that we're going to focus on in the future. An issue or a topic specifically, whether it's specific to us or just a general thing that we're going to talk about in details for us. That's what we're going to get back into. And this is really the first time we did that, and it was great. It's one of my favorite episodes.
And I must have been putting some of our outtakes at the end.
Yeah.
We used to do a TikTok video of the week.
Yeah, but
and then when we switched it to Spotify, it just doesn't play the same. So we stopped doing it. But I used to put every now and then little outtakes because generally our intro takes us a couple of tries, even though it's the same intro every week. Yeah. Either he messes it up or I mess it up. Yeah. I've gotten to where I put all my information on a piece of paper.
But if we're starting late or whatever and she doesn't put the date down, then we struggle with that.
Yeah, sometimes it's take 3 or 4. We find it funny, whatever. Episode 9 was legalize pot or not. So that was an interesting conversation. Mm-hmm. And episode 10, straight up your ass cancer. That must have been when we finally heard the word remission from Dad.
That's when your dad was a superstar throughout his whole treatment. But finally they said, because at first they were for a year and a half, they were like, there's no way we can never tell you that he's not a person with cancer. And then finally they just literally was like, fuck it, he's in remission.
Yeah. That was a good day.
That was a very good day.
Taste buds candy debate. What's a candy bar? Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Like our M&M's a candy bar? No.
And I get it because they're on the same candy aisle, but there is a difference between a candy bar and
can the candy bar have to be in a bar shape? We used to have these really weird discussions. What happened? All these really weird discussions?
we talked about that too, and where we fell on that is that Reese's Peanut Butter Cups really fucked us over with that debate because it's not a bar.
But it is a candy bar.
But it is a candy bar because it's in the candy bar aisle. It's basically packaged as a candy bar.
God, we went right over our week and got right into it.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to go backwards this episode.
Yeah.
I don't want to go through every single one of these because there's 52 of them. What were some of your favorites, babe?
Well, there was just off the top of my head, one of my favorites was we did 2 bonus episodes. One was One was our trip to the mountains where we basically cut together a bunch of videos that we took, and then the other was just me and Richard talking about Emma Daughter's Jug Band Christmas, that was a lot of fun. I want to do that every now and again. Is actually interview somebody in our life.
Yeah. I guess the feeling we get as I'm looking through your notes, because I hadn't seen them. I knew he was working on getting through all 51 episodes, although I doubt you listened to last week's over again. But
no, I got.
You probably started at 47, but I mean that's within a month of what we just put out. And like, looking back, I was like, gosh, that was a year ago.
And the stuff that we talked about, like we keep saying that we're mundane people, but we're talking about life events here.
We have pages of stuff we've talked about here.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I'm sure if you thought about it, if you guys did your own show and talked about your daily event, doing it like this is kind of like a journal.
It is a video journal, and we're inviting you to watch.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's exactly what this is. This one here from episode 25, school starting throughout the country. Mm-hmm. School starting.
Yeah.
Back in person, and now we're dropping the mask mandate. We just found out today.
What was the number you saw? 7 out of 100,000 people
in Virginia Beach. Just in Virginia Beach. It's like 7.9 cases out of 100,000 people, which is really low.
Yeah.
So now in Virginia Beach public schools, the kids went mask optional last week, a few weeks ago actually, and now staff is mask optional starting on Monday. Mm-hmm. So I have a lot of soul searching to do.
We did an episode where we talked about codependence between us. Then there was an episode we did about judgments, which I loved. That was actually one of my favorite episodes. Because I think people making judgments is a natural thing that has to happen in some cases. But here's the other thing. If people judged me on my, like, in-the-moment comments about things and what I find funny in the moment, they would completely misjudge me as a human being. Sure. Like, because there are some things I see, and I'm like, that's the best thing I've seen all day, but it's like this horrible thing. For example, I try not to get... I fall squarely on the fence, would you say? Yeah. So I kind of ride the middle politically, anyway. In social issues, I'm more leaning toward the left, and in policy and, like, economic issues, I lean more toward the right. I can't fall on one side or the other. Right. But one person I do not like is Joy Behar. No, I am not a Joy Behar fan. I feel like she has this arrogance about her that just really bothers me personally. Mm-hmm. And we were coming home from work today, and the story flashed up on my phone that she tripped and fell coming out to the View. I find that really funny. Well, like, she didn't get videos I like anyway. People falling. I think that is funny. But, like, my first instinct was, please tell me they were on TV and we get to see this on YouTube. Because it's so horrible. If you judged me only on that, you'd think I was a terrible person. Yeah, well, if anybody judged you like that, she didn't get hurt. She was okay. I mean, certainly if she broke her leg or something, I wouldn't want to see that. Yeah. Obviously, I wouldn't want that. But so that's third page?
Yeah, we're on third page. The great garage cleanup that never happened.
Go back to the second page. The name change. Here we go. The name changed.
This week with the roses.
To this week with the roses.
It happened at episode 25, halfway through.
Yep.
The year.
8/29/21. August 29.
Yeah, we changed it.
Yeah, we changed it.
Because we couldn't get it out Friday.
We learned a lot about how to do this. And one of the things we learned is, like, getting it out on a Friday, recording and then getting it out on a Friday was next to impossible.
I need the weekend.
Yeah. So, there we go. So we changed the name, and the time release is different.
What really, we upgraded the camera, and then it was taking hours to upload the videos. Yeah. Because I have to upload it to the editing software, which that's gone a lot faster now that we actually have the software as something on our computer. Yeah. Whereas before we were using a web-based thing, so it would have to upload to that. Then I'd do what I needed to do. Then I'd have to upload it again to YouTube, and it was just literally taking hours. So, and then we upgraded our internet.
Anchor or what was the one?
I was using WeVideo.
Right.
And so that's like a web-based editing. So I would have to upload our videos to it.
You now use that a lot when you're doing stuff for the kids.
I use it for school a lot. Yeah. Yeah. Now I use Cyberlink Power Director. Yeah. Right on my desktop, so it's super fast. To a little more not as user friendly as WeVideo. Yeah. WeVideo is really designed for you to get your kids in there and figure it out. I think anyway. Power Director is a little more like, if I hadn't had the background knowledge from WeVideo, I would have no idea of what to do in Power Director. Yeah. But it still takes a long time to upload it. to YouTube.
Yeah.
Like we're talking hours that I have to sit with the window open on my computer.
And then we decided to upgrade our internet.
And then we upgraded to Gigablast or whatever, and
yeah, that tripled the upload speed. So
yeah, our Cox Communications person here said we can just upgrade it, and I was like, well, yes, we'll have to pay for it, and it's okay. We don't pay for any of the rest of it.
Yeah, that's true.
I probably shouldn't have just thrown that right out there, huh?
I mean, we do pay some. I
have to edit that. Am I going to have to go back and edit that?
Nah, we'll be
okay. I thought this said Christmas gifts for sobriety, but
Society.
It says society. We talked about stress and anxiety. There's your judgments episode. The Wheel of Funny.
The Wheel of Funny was awesome.
We're bringing the wheel back.
Yep.
If you listen, that was episode 32. We put funny stories on a wheel and we spun it, and whatever it landed on, we told the story. So we're going to bring that
come
back.
up with more funny stories to put on the wheel. And
yep.
then...
and then we have the holidays coming up.
And then we started the trek where your mom and dad went to Georgia.
Yeah, that.
And they got stuck down there.
Yep. Oh, the never-ending Christmas debate. That was your Emmett Otter.
Yep.
You know, next year's never-ending Christmas debate, you know what that could be?
Well, I know what that's going to be. and the interesting thing about that is that we the way we wanted to work is that we're going to Zoom with two people in Georgia. That one is on my side, one is on your side, which that'll be fun.
Yeah, that'll be a fun debate. Although I don't doubt I will come out as a loser in that. We stopped doing TikTok videos in December. December 31st was our last TikTok video.
Well, that's when we came up with the new name, and then
we had the new camera, and then we went to Spotify.
So Coming Up Roses, and that's the permanent name. That suits us, I think, the best.
Even though it still takes you a minute or two to come up with those words when we're introing our...
Well, that's just because I'm a talentless hack. So...
That's not true.
I'm going to keep this up, too, by the way.
All right. It's probably a good thing to have.
Yeah.
So we put it in a journal.
Maybe we'll put
it in a binder.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking we could put it up on the Facebook page, too, every now and again.
Put the list up on the Facebook page?
Put this up there. Okay. Copy it in there? I don't know. We'll talk about that later. Apparently, I should not have sprung that on the show live.
Follow us on Facebook at Coming Up Roses VA. Look for the page.
Yeah.
We post all of our links in there. We need to do more with that.
Yeah.
But we're not allowed to advertise. Facebook won't let us, so I can't. I don't feel like reading the whole documents and changing everything to be ready to. I'm lazy. I don't really care that much.
Then it would be different, but we're not making any money off of it.
Who am I trying to impress?
$K
Facebook, Meta, whatever your name is. You can keep all of your money. I'll keep all of my money. We'll be good to go.
Yeah.
We skipped right over talking about our week. We always start off with our week, and I just jumped right into the list.
Because you were excited about
I was so impressed with your list.
It was a nice list. I like that.
I don't know why I thought I'm never going to be able to read his list. I don't know why I thought you hand wrote it. That was such a boneheaded thing for me to think.
Shit. I always type. I never handwrite.
I know. That's why I'm just saying. Can't believe it. So this past week, I had a rough week.
You did.
We had dinner at the Outback. We ordered Outback, brought it home on Saturday night.
And they're OTL now.
Yes.
OTL means off the list.
OTL is off the list. So we have lots of places that are OTL. I need to get back to that, eyebrow filler. Look at how...
Yeah.
Look, it looks like I have half an eyebrow.
Yeah, it does. It's weird.
It is, but it's not when you look at me this way, it doesn't look like that, right? It's the camera. Let me cover it with my... There.
There you go.
Now it's just... The rest of my eyebrows just hiding behind my bangs. I don't like that either. Whatever. Y'all know forehead. Me. What was I saying? Oh, and I ordered... A salad. I was being good.
You and your mom were both being very good.
I got the blue cheese pecan chopped salad, and then I had some bloomin' onion. And Mom and I both got sick Saturday night. Well, she got sick Saturday night. I didn't get sick until Sunday around noon. And then I was sick all day Sunday into Monday. And then got through with that stomach virus, food poisoning, whatever it was. And then my reflux kicked in like major. I have problems.
And it lasted days. I was worried.
Kevin was ready to take me to the ER at one point. And then he was like, "You are going to see the doctor even if it's online." I'm like, "They're going to tell me it's my reflux. I know what my reflux feels like. This is what is going on with me right now." I don't get reflux symptoms the same way. Like, I don't get heartburn. The acid up in the throat, like, I don't get that. But I get pressure and, like, whatever, right at my diaphragm. And just feeling horrible. And that makes me nauseous. And it's a constant feeling of that. Like, it just doesn't, and then my stomach will hurt, and it just never goes away. And I just knew I had way too much stomach acid. And so it literally took me going back to my reflex medicine, which I had gotten to where I only needed half of what I was taking before every day. So I had cut it in half, but I had to go back to the full twice a day. And I need to stay away from the fried foods and from the fatty foods. Because then I had started to feel better, and then we had corned beef and cabbage for dinner. And
which is awesome.
It tasted great, but it was so fatty. It did not sit well with me. It made me sick for a while. So I was out of school for 3 days. And then today's the first day I really have felt like a human being again. Like, no nauseousness, no stomach ache, no any kind of other issues. But I've literally been eating, like, I had rice for lunch one day and soup for dinner. And tonight I had a turkey sandwich. Just trying to stay away from the fatty, fast, fried foods. I keep hearing, like, ordnance going off. Do you hear?
I think it's fireworks.
It is not fireworks.
Mm-hmm.
No, it isn't.
It's not loud enough to be ordnance.
It could be Dam Neck doing, like, some kind of drills or something. They do shit like that all the time. Louder. We're not that close to Dam Neck.
Okay.
Who would be shooting off fireworks on a Thursday night?
I don't know, but I clearly remember a couple of years back where folks across the street laid out some stuff that we thought was ordinance.
We live very, very close to a lot of military installations. Mm-hmm. We're really close to a naval air station. Like, we're like, would you say less than a mile?
Less than a mile.
A couple miles, maybe a mile off the end of that. They fly right over our house. That noise never bothers me, by the way. Some people get bothered by jet noise. I don't. I bet you the people in the Ukraine would be wanting to hear that jet noise right about now. But we also live near Dam Neck, which is like a naval training base and a SEAL training base. And every now and then they have these training operations where they set off ordnance and stuff, and we can hear it. Sometimes I can hear Reveille playing at 8 o'clock in the morning.
I think that's somebody who lives in the neighborhood.
It isn't. It's the base. On a really clear day, you can hear it. And the national anthem plays. Yeah, it's pretty cool. That's how close we are. So when I hear those sounds, I'm like, oh, they're out there playing in the woods. They were testing a jet engine this morning.
Yeah,
it shook the house.
That gets loud, yeah. When they're doing an engine test, that gets loud.
Yeah. So anyway, back to being sick. I don't know how I got off on that tangent. So I didn't go. Today was my first day of work this week, and it was a doozy. So that went on this week. Kevin got some new glasses.
Yep. It was actually, I got an eye exam a little bit ago, and it was the first time that I had an eye exam in 2 years, which I hadn't realized. Because I had so much trouble with my eye. My left eye is trash. Really, it's just trash. But there was so much worse. I mean, it's not as bad as it once was, but, it's basically just trash. But after that got cleared up, then the pandemic went down. And basically, it's just one of those things that's, you're not thinking about it, because you don't think about setting an appointment. My eyesight's getting the glasses aren't as effective as they once were because my prescriptions changed. So I finally got in to see Dr. Levine. who's my eye doctor that worked on my eye when it was all jacked up. And I wanted to go back to him because, sometimes when you go to like a new eye doctor and they see your trash eye, they get all freaked out like, oh my God, we got to do something now. We're good. So Levine's already seen it, so he was cool with it. And, but I had to find a new place to get glasses because I usually get my glasses at Costco, but we don't have Costco anymore. We switched to Sam because it's a lot closer. And at first, Sam said they took VSP, which is the insurance we use, but they treat it as out of market or out of area or whatever the hell. Ended up going to Lens Crafters, which they was real nice and not as cheap as Costco, but I think it's going to be a good pair of glasses. They come in a couple weeks.
You are the only person I know in the whole world who could spend a minute 47 talking about your glasses.
It's something.
If someone said, "Hey, did you get new glasses?" I'd go, "Yeah, hey, I got new glasses this week." Oh.
Well, if you can't make it sound like an epic adventure. Then...
You have to try to make it sound like an epic adventure.
Yeah.
That's because everything with your eyes has been an epic adventure.
Yeah, that's true.
This is routine.
Yeah, just
normal.
Routine.
Kevin, when we were talking about what happened this week, he's like, "Oh, I got glasses. We got an alignment." I'm like, "It's so mundane. We don't need to talk about all of that."
Yeah. Well, the tire thing we already told you guys about, but we went to a new place for the alignment, a place called Christian Brothers. To get a chance if you're in the area, because those people were on it. They were nice. They were professional. They kept me informed through text through the whole process.
They were
took pictures of the car.
A little expensive.
Yeah, it was $100 for the alignment.
They took pictures of the car?
Yeah.
The outside of the car?
They took pictures of everything. They took pictures of our struts. They took pictures of our engine.
How do you know they were our pictures?
Well, I mean, you can just look at it.
Could he just say, "Oh, look, your brakes are going bad," and show you any random picture, and you would think, they took a picture of my brakes and changed them.
Well, I mean, I looked at, like, you could see, like, pieces of the car. It was the metallic gray that we have. I mean, it's in
I'm not saying
the
that
paperwork's in the car.
I believe you.
Yeah.
I am suspicious of car dealer. We are supposed to be getting, like, free oil changes for life and free state inspections for life, but I have heard some stories recently that make me not want to take my car to a dealer for those things.
Yeah.
And then you can't even get an appointment anyway.
Yeah,
I'd rather just pay and not drive to Chesapeake to get my stuff done.
Yeah, because the dealership is, like, doing, like, rebuilding their service area or whatever for whatever reason, and it was just so much of a hassle to try to get an appointment at one of the
So we had to pay for the first oil change we've had to pay for in years. And we were a little surprised. It was as expensive as it was.
It was like $80.
Yeah, comment. Kevin always likes to get you to comment. It was $80, a lot of money to pay
honestly,
for oil change because honestly, we've gotten free oil changes for years and years. So don't know anymore. And then of course the last big thing that everybody's been paying attention to this week
is the Ukraine
and the horrid situation those poor people are in. Watching it on the news before we came, just the families having to flee everything, and
it's a lot of sad stories, but also some of the stories are just kind of, believe it or not, uplifting because you see them do things like you see the videos where people are just standing in front of tanks and the tanks are backing down
because the Russian soldiers don't believe in what they're doing either.
Yeah, I believe that. The
common Russian soldier, I bet you anything, is like, what the heck are we doing here?
And the Ukrainian people are just badass. I'm sure everybody's seen at least a snippet of the video of the old lady going up to the soldier and giving him shit. Just giving him raw ration of shit. Telling him that, you need to leave, go home now. You don't want to go home? Put these sunflower seeds in your pocket so that when you die, sunflowers will grow from your corpse. That's some badass shit right there.
That is someone who has been through a life of having to be afraid of that kind of thing.
She didn't give a single shit. She was just in that boy's face.
Yeah.
That's.
I mean, to see those people standing up and just your average Ukrainian standing up and fighting for their freedom and willing to die in the street to keep it makes you realize how precious it is and when people say, oh, our country's too big, that could never happen. I mean, I wouldn't say that could never happen.
I think people need to realize that when you have examples of things getting close to that right here in the West, because you look at the stuff that happened with the Canadian truckers, whether you agree with their stance or not, these people were basically saying we don't want mandates for vaccines. Now, you can say these people should get a vaccine, and you can make the argument that it's a good idea to get the vaccine, but I can't find a viable reason to mandate it and to cause these people to lose their livelihood and their jobs and everything else because they don't want to get a shot that's for their benefit. That is on them. But these people that were protesting peacefully, not like the peaceful protest in that was set fires to cities here in the U.S., but basically these people, the worst thing they did was block traffic and threw some jacuzzis out in the streets of Ottawa. And they seized bank accounts and property and, threatened to take kids away and declared a state of emergency and just started rounding people up and say, and destroying their lives because they didn't want to give up their mandate. That's crazy. But that leads to people rolling tanks down the street to say, hey, we're rounding up your people because we want to do whatever. That's a real thing.
Don't get him started, people. Be a long ass podcast. Yeah, but so you want to take a country, to me, just watching them go in and go directly after the citizens is so different from even when we were in Afghanistan, we weren't there fighting against the citizens of Afghanistan.
No.
And so your strikes and all of that were precision and made toward, the leaders that were pushing all of this crap, but you tried to keep innocent civilians out of the middle of it.
Yeah.
And this is completely opposite. It's like they went in and just went straight for...
Which is stupid to me because regardless of what happens in the Ukraine now, it's going to be decades to clean this place up.
But does he care more about what's under the ground in the Ukraine?
It wouldn't matter. They're blowing up oil fields and shooting up their facilities. It's still going to take decades to build that back up. And it's not just for the oil. It can't be.
The world needs to stand up against it.
Yeah.
And it has to be more than we're just going to make it hard for you to get your money out of the bank and we're going to seize your $600 million yachts. We need to stop buying any Russian product. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, here's the unfortunate side of it.
Because it hurts
the Russian people who probably don't believe in this either. But you've got to stop the money flow somehow. You have to seize their...
I'll tell you how you stop the money flow. Domestic oil production.
I know.
Because it brings the price of the oil down. Right now, with the price of oil going up so high, it actually is helpful to Russia because their economy is completely based on the oil trade, whether it's oil trade with China, who's not restricting their use, or even the oil trade with Europe, which has lessened they're trying to say, well, we'll squeeze, we won't buy as much. We're still buying 5,000 barrels of oil from Russia a day.
More than that, but not a great amount. It's it's a small percentage of our oil.
So if we just crank production back up to where it was before the pandemic.
Let me ask a question? Mm-hmm. And I'm just throwing a hypothetical at you. Mm-hmm. So let's stop buying Russian oil.
Okay.
Our gas prices will probably increase. They already are.
Okay.
Is it worth paying a little more or some more at the pump to support stopping Russia from doing what they're doing to the Ukrainians?
Okay, but here's the thing. When you talk about oil prices, that's a world price. Because the oil coming from one place or another, it's still, the price is calculated on the whole, out of the whole world's production. So even when you say we're not going to buy Russian oil, the price is still based on the fact that Russia is pumping oil to China. and to
the whole world would have to stop buying Russian oil.
Yeah, the whole world, including China, would have to stop buying Russian oil.
That probably won't happen.
So what I'm saying is, because this just drives up the price of the oil, and then that brings up the Russia's economy. Regardless of what everybody is saying with the sanctions, whatever, as long as the price of oil is high, that's going to sustain their economy. Even for the little folks, they might be missing out on some things, and there's a lot of private companies that are doing stuff. Like I read a thing where Pornhub is like if you've got a Russian IP address, they're preventing the porn from getting there. So
I know that lots of bars, and I even want to say like ABC stores in Virginia pulled Russian vodka.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it's a statement of support.
Yeah. But it really does.
We really just need to cut the money off, and
but what I'm saying is
get him out in the open and scoop him up
by increasing domestic oil production. It drops the price of oil down, not just for us, but for the world market. So not only are we producing enough for here in the U.S., but we can also start cranking it out and getting it to the European nations. And once that price starts going down, and China's paying less for the oil, and that's what's going to cut the money from Russia more effectively than any sanctions. So there's no downside to increasing domestic oil, except for if you're a politician. That's the only people it hurts. So.
Or anybody who believes that we should not be dependent on oil at all. But anyway, that is what it is. That's not going to change overnight. I know.
Yeah.
I had a point I was going to make, and I
killed it.
Oh. So they're investigating, like, to see if they can, if Putin is a war criminal, like they've committed war crimes.
Well, if
because some of the bombs they're using or whatever, which this to me sounds ridiculous. The cluster bombs and vacuum bombs are illegal. Other bombs are okay. What if they go, yeah, okay, they did this, he's a war criminal, then what? Nothing.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. All right, anyway, we are not going out on that. This is coming out to you on Saturday, March 5th, and that is an important day because it is my mom's birthday.
Happy birthday, Mom.
So we want to say happy birthday to my mom. I'm not sure she's going to be listening on the day this comes out, but if she does, happy birthday to you. We are going to take care. We're going to have a nice dinner.
Yep,
we're going to have feta shrimp, baked potato, and we're making a sugar-free chocolate pie. For dessert, we might even do the walnut crust.
Yeah, we've got one in the pantry.
Oh, so yeah, and the low sugar whipped cream on the top, so it would be all good. So we're going to be celebrating Mom on Saturday, so that'll be nice.
Yep. And she's, this week she's had a good week. She's the glue that keeps the family together, and it was, it's good stuff.
Yeah, it's true. I have nothing to say to that. I have broken out my Irish wear, so and I got the green fingernails going on with it.
I got a green shirt. This is actually my Marvel shirt of the month. So
yes, the Incredible Hulk. You're my Incredible Hulk, babe. All right, so what's coming up on the podcast next year?
So we've been talking about we reviewing what we've done. We know what works, and we've figured out a lot of shit that doesn't work. I'll tell you what works. This damn thing right here. So that's
we're gonna get so much feedback now that you're touching it. The microphone situation, I think, although probably now it's got so much background noise, people are probably like, turn it down.
Shit, man.
I can turn the volume down, though, in Power Director. So that's good.
She's learning.
So some goals and things we want. So topics every week. So we're going to try to come up with a topic or something to build our show around. And that goes a little bit into the planning ahead stage. Because we haven't been great at planning ahead. So Kevin's don't share them. Don't share your topics.
What about just next week's?
Wait, and we'll share it.
We'll share it
because it could change. We might change our minds. Something really could come along. We're not going to share it.
We're not going to share it.
You know what? We'll announce it in the Coming Up Roses page. On Wednesday, what our topic is going to be. So, and then people can comment if they have questions or things, and then maybe we can build in some of their comments.
Yeah.
Bing. Okay.
Boom. So pay attention to our page. comment on our page when we talk about it, what we're going to talk about. And we really want some interaction, folks. So like, comment, share.
You got to give people things, specific comments to, like, we want your opinion on this specific thing.
Right.
Because if you just say, oh, what do you think? Well, I think I want to keep listening.
Thankfully you're listening.
But really, we need to be more specific in what we're asking for. So that's the planning ahead and coming up with topics for the week. Mm-hmm. We will post them maybe Wednesday.
Yeah.
So Wednesday, the topic of the week will go up. And so we can have some discussion in that group. That'd be kind of fun.
That would be fun.
We would like to build the audience. So if you're listening and you find anything of value in what we're talking about, share it with people, please.
Very much so, please.
You can find us on Spotify. You can find us on YouTube. Just Coming Up Roses should bring you to it, I would imagine.
But there'll be a link in the...
I don't know. Our YouTube channel is called The Roses. So you might just need to search for our YouTube channel. We'll put a link on our Facebook page. And then maybe some guests, bringing in some guests.
That's one of the things that we want to do. We did it with Richard. We had the boys here. So we want to do more of that.
And I think the planning ahead aspect can give us some time to build that and really kind of have a direction. I think that's what some of our shows have been lacking, just a little bit of direction.
Yeah.
It was nice this week. See, look, we've been going 47 minutes because we had direction, even though I jumped all over the page.
And then we're also going to be, for the second half of the show, bringing back some classics and some new games. We're coming up with
a new one at you coming at you today.
Yeah.
We're going to call it Hypotheticals. We'll explain that in the second half of our show.
So we'll be back in a minute with some Hypotheticals. And we're back with Hypotheticals.
Yeah, we're going to throw some Hypotheticals at you. And Hypotheticals are just our short, fun way of saying hypotheticals.
Yeah. So that term comes from, of course...
Guess what our favorite show is.
Yes. Comes from Impractical Jokers. It was just a quick bit they did. They were they're pretending to be psychoanalysts talking to people for the first time. And Q had a Muppet basically doing hypotheticals with the person. So.
Yeah, so just throwing out hypothetical situations, and then we'll talk about our answer.
Sure.
All right, so here's the first one. I found, by the way, where I get all of my stuff is by Googling things. Mm-hmm. If your sheets had to be made of deli meat, what meat would you want them made of?
Ooh.
Deli meat sheets.
Wow. First of all, just the logistics of it. Aside from it only being temporary, they'd be cold.
Not if you go to Firehouse to get them.
Yeah, that's true.
Go to Firehouse Subs. They warm their meat. Those firemen like warm meat.
I guess, there's a lot of different meats out there that I really like, but the tried and true has got to be the Oven Gold
turkey breast.
Yeah.
You would want your sheets made out of turkey?
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
Really?
Mm-mm. You want to know why?
Why?
Turkey just pulls apart. Like it kind of comes, it just kind of shreds apart.
So you need something that can stand.
Yeah, because you would be ripping those sheets up in no time. Ham.
Ham does the same thing. It might be a little sturdier than... Ham
doesn't have a grain in it the same way turkey does.
Yeah. No, now you're talking about hard salami. If you're talking
oily.
about ham's going to be oily.
Not as oily as salami.
But, it's still not going to be as sturdy. If you're talking pure sturdiness, a hard salami, you're not going to beat that.
What about bologna?
Yeah. Well, I guess...
Kind of soft.
It's kind of soft. It could probably hold up to some pressure. Probably not as... It wouldn't be as tough as the hard salami, but it would be tougher than the ham. So...
You couldn't do a roast beef.
No.
Or a pastrami, because pastrami is long and thin.
Yeah.
What other kind of meats are there?
Structure, the meat would be very...
I would go with a classic boiled ham. That would be my answer. Yeah. Just your regular deli ham, not like honey baked or anything like that. Let's not get crazy. I'm not going for, thread count, 800 thread count quality sheets. Just regular old deli ham for me.
But I would just replace it with real sheets.
You would say salami?
Yeah. I think salami, like I said, as far as being able to hold up, that would be the one that would hold up best.
Pepperoni,
but then you got pepper right in your nose while you're trying to sleep.
It's in salami too.
Not as bad. I mean, Jesus, you had some pepperoni the other
what
day.
What other kind of lunch meats are there? I mean, there's the regular, the big three, right? Turkey, ham.
You got prosciutto. You got capicola.
Capicola.
Yeah.
We talk like we're Italian. We really don't know how to say that word.
Yeah. We're just basing that, again, mostly on Joker talk. And Uncle Jerry's pretty fluent with the deli meat talk.
Yeah.
Shout out Uncle Jerry.
All right. Here's your next hypothetical. Ready?
Yep.
You are the emperor of a small island nation and can pick any 3 people from history to come and live on your island for 5 years. Who do you choose and why?
Wow. Anybody in history?
Anybody from history. 3 people.
Well, just because I think sitting and having a conversation with this Milton Friedman.
I knew he was going to be your number 1.
Yeah, because, Milton Friedman was just awesome. If you ever get a chance, look up the power. What was it? No. God. I can't even think of the name of it right
now. No.
God, I'm getting old.
Gosh. You forgot the name of a Milton Friedman book?
I know.
Do you want me to look it up real quick while you're thinking of your other 2 people?
Yeah. Number 2 would probably be... Let's see. I got Milt there. Thomas Jefferson would be cool to sit and talk to. And probably George Washington. So, George Washington, I would think, would have the power to choose.
Did you see that somewhere?
Freedom to choose. It was a PBS special.
Oh, it's a special. It's not a book?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I was going to look at his books.
Yeah.
Well, that I just
Freedom
don't know.
to choose.
Can I just search freedom to choose? Would it
Yeah.
come up? This is fascinating.
Yeah. But I would think you would get... George Washington, I think, is one of the most honorable people. Just because...
Yes, freedom to choose.
Freedom to choose, yeah. Because, I think it gets a bad rap. Yes, he was a slave owner, but at the time, the times being what they were, and first of all, it wasn't like he was. If he could get rid of his slaves, he's written letters about this. He would do so. It was just against the law in Virginia. It really was. He couldn't just free them. So I just think he would have a great deal of stories to tell, not just about military stuff, but this stuff in basically the beginning of American politics and the things that he had to face. And then there's Jefferson, who's just like basically one of the first masters of American politics. So
I would want... If I'm on an island, I'm an emperor of an island.
Mm-hmm.
I would want someone that could help us sustain. So, like someone who... Ben Franklin would be a good one, because he could invent things that you could use.
Okay.
My first thought was some kind of architect, so that they could build, the structures would be...
So you're basing it on there being nothing there on there?
No, I'm not. I'm saying wherever they are, it's a small island, so you clearly aren't a huge modern facility, right?
Yeah. Well, I was taking it was just a resort.
You're the emperor of your own Kevin world.
Mm-hmm.
What's the guy who he was an architect, Weber, and he had he did all those really cool homes.
Yeah, Weber.
Was that his name? Lloyd Wright? No, Andrew Lloyd Wright.
He was a writer.
This is where my ignorance comes out. And my second place is trying to spell architect. Famous. Hold on. Frank Lloyd Wright. I was so close. Did I say Andrew Lloyd Wright.
Yeah.
Okay. Frank Lloyd Wright, because he could, like, design and build some pretty cool stuff. Benjamin Franklin, just because of the, like, he'd be able to, invent things using the stuff around him. And then I'd want somebody for music. So, I'm not a music person.
Oh, man, I didn't even think about that.
But, like, somebody who could be, like, entertainment and bring that kind of culture to the island.
Let me throw a hypothetical that's a little different. If you if you could have a concert with 3 of your favorite artists, living or dead.
Okay. What kind of concert? Like a stadium concert or small intimate concert?
Small intimate.
Garth Brooks.
Okay.
I would save and pay good money to see him in a theater of like 200-300 people.
Okay.
So Garth Brooks would be one. So 3 at the same concert, living or dead.
Living or dead.
This is gonna sound super hokey, but Michael Jackson.
Really?
I'd love to see him perform.
I get that.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you one of the best concerts I ever went to was Don Henley. Because Don Henley didn't hide behind a shit ton of music.
No.
He sat on a stool with a guitar, and he sang, and it was really good.
You know a lot of my favorite
and
people.
he sings the Eagles songs, and there you go.
Yeah. You know a lot of my favorite artists, they just stand in front of a microphone. Garth Brooks talked about that one time where he talked about George Strait and how George Strait, had one of the most talented people because he just stands in front of a mic with a guitar and sings, and you have stadiums full of mesmerized people that just, I'm here for George Strait, and you couldn't tear me away.
Yeah.
So.
See, and I've seen Garth Brooks in concert twice, but in a big concert, like a full show, and that man puts on a show.
Yeah, I'll admit that. And
I am not a country music fan. I'm not even really a music fan. Like, I don't listen to a lot of music. But I will put a Garth Brooks song on. His songs are some of my favorites. Watching him perform them gives me goosebumps. Yeah. Like, he lives every song he sings. And he did a show in Vegas a few years ago, before he came out of retirement, where it was just him. But he wasn't singing his music, though. He was singing cover music.
Yeah.
I would pay good money to sit in a small theater and listen to him just sing requests from people and tell stories about music, and that would be so great. Mm-hmm. Who would your 3 be? No. Yeah, who would your 3 be?
Willie, Waylon, and Cash.
All country? Really?
Yeah. I think, first of all, if you ever go to YouTube, you can watch one of they have the full Highwaymen concert, which is just gold. Mm-hmm. You know, the Highwaymen was Willie, Waylon, Johnny Cash, and Chris Christopherson, which, 50% of them are dead, 50% of them are well on their way out. Mm-hmm. Willie's not on his way out. You look at Willie Nelson now, he looks like Willie Nelson. So, say what you will about pot. Willie's
well preserved.
He's well preserved. But Chris Christopherson looks like shit.
They're getting old, really, and they live hard lives.
Yeah, that's true. So, but I think that would just, in an intimate concert like that, those 3.
I'm not a concert goer. I'm not a music person, but I'm not a concert goer either. But put me in a small setting.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. Just a small intimate. Yeah. Maybe 100 people. Yeah. Room.
Oh, that would be great.
Because you want people around you that appreciate the music too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
If you could only eat one food for the rest of your life, what food would it be?
The quick and easy would be pizza. But, man, I really do love some fried chicken.
Yeah.
And some country fried steak.
That's 2 foods.
Yeah, I know. It'd be a tough beat for one of those 3, but probably pizza because there's a lot of variety in pizza.
That's true. And eating it cold and eating it hot are 2 different, like, it feels different when you eat them that way. And
yeah.
Pizza was the first thing that popped into my head, but I replaced it
with
chicken soup.
Chicken soup, yeah.
I could eat chicken noodle soup.
Campbell's, yeah.
Campbell's chicken noodle soup. But I like Mom's chicken noodle, and I like when you go to Panera and you get chicken noodle. Like, I like chicken noodle soup. Chicken broth. Like, you know when you get a colonoscopy and they're like, oh, you have to only be on clear liquids for a day. You can only have, like, broth. I'm like, yes. I love chicken broth.
Yeah.
Love it. That bowl of soup I had at dinner last night, it was much hotter than the one I got the day before that you made for me. That was kind of lukewarm. It wasn't that great. But it was piping hot. Oh, my God. It was so good.
Well, the one I made for you the other day was in a microwave.
You made it in the microwave.
And then the one last night I did in a pot.
I know.
So that's
on the
way
pot
to go.
is much better. All right. So, a couple more?
Yeah.
This one's really interesting. So we've had a similar conversation to this before, but it's got an interesting slant to it. If you were a superhero with no superpowers, what would your name be?
Ooh.
I know the answer to that question.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
For you or for me?
For you.
Jeez. See, I just watched Kick-Ass, and if you're not familiar with Kick-Ass, it's that movie. It's a guy who zero superpowers. No one in the movie has any type of superpower. It's a good movie. You should watch it. It's on HBO Max. God, what would I call myself? It's just, I guess, Captain Patience, I guess. I don't know.
Captain Patience.
Yeah.
That's
really the closest thing that I have to a superpower.
Well, it says you have no superpowers.
Yeah, well.
If you were a superhero with no superpowers, what would your name be?
I'm not a violent person, so it's just something that's so foreign to me that to think that, I'd go out and hunt people down and be hurting them and shit. Yeah.
What are you talking about? A superhero?
Yeah.
With no superpowers.
Oh, there's tons of them.
That doesn't mean you're violent and going out and killing people.
The Punisher? Batman?
Why do you go to the violent ones? They didn't even enter my brain.
Really?
When I hear superhero, I think of all good guys.
Yeah. But superhero, you're talking about people putting on a costume, going out.
If you were a superhero with no superpowers.
Okay, this is where my knowledge of comics is really a hindrance because you or
Can I make an argument here?
Sure.
I'm going to make this argument. Batman had no superpowers.
And he beat the shit out of people.
But he was a hero.
Yeah, by beating the shit out of people.
Yeah, but you said Punisher.
The Punisher has zero superpowers.
I know.
And he's murdered thousands of people.
Why are you using that as an example of what kind of superhero you would be?
Because that's where, if you're going to put on a costume and go out and prevent crime.
Yeah.
Or fight crime, violence is part of that. Batman doesn't talk people out of robbing the store. He beats the shit out of them. The Punisher sees somebody robbing the store. That motherfucker's going down hard forever. Just going down a list of superheroes without superpowers. Let's go with, Kick-Ass. He'd still have to fight. He's beating people down with a stick.
So you say you couldn't do that? Like, you couldn't have that's not violence, by the way. To me, when you say violence, I'm like someone who's trying to hurt you.
I mean, I could defend myself. And
that's self-defense and defending. If you're beating someone down to, like, save someone, to me, I mean, I know it's a violent act, but it's not violence.
Right. Okay.
So when you said violence, I'm like, why are you going with all these dark heroes that are out there just trying to kill people?
Because that's what I mean.
But Batman doesn't go out. He doesn't kill people.
No, he beats the shit out of them.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so you don't have an answer for this. Captain Patience is what you're coming up with.
It's the only thing I got. Well, why? What were you gonna?
All right, if you were a superhero with no superpowers, your name would be Kevin Patrick Rose. Because you are a superhero and you have no superpowers.
So I don't see myself as a superhero.
You're my superhero.
Oh.
It's true.
You, baby.
You took good care of me when I was sick. Mm-hmm. And you do everything for me.
But that's not fighting crime, which is what the traditional superhero does. See, that's where I went with it.
Okay. You ready for the next question? If extra lives were a real thing... No, hold on. If extra lives were a thing in the real world, how would you get them?
Well, like in video games, you have to tap something to get it.
Like, what would you have to do if you could do something in real life that would earn you an extra life? What would that thing have to be that you would have to do in order to earn an extra life?
I guess a great thing would be if you had to do some sort of charitable volunteerism. So, like, okay, you get an extra life if you do, a week at the soup kitchen, or
a good deed.
A good deed.
But you're getting a whole nother life. You have to do more than just a good deed. You have to pretty much save a baby from a burning building.
Jesus.
Don't you think? Like, you're getting a whole extra life.
Well, in video games, you just happen to come across a thing you tap.
But we're talking about the real world.
We're talking about the theoretical world. So I guess you'd have to perform some sort of labor of some sort. And my guess, I would want it to be something that benefits people, like charitable work.
I completely agree.
And not money. No. I'm talking about spending time doing something, either volunteering at a soup kitchen or I don't know, bringing.
I think if you cure cancer, you get an extra life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
If you run into a burning building to save people in a terrorist attack, you get an extra life.
Yeah.
Those are kind of like, if you pick up a newspaper for an old lady on the street who dropped a newspaper, I don't know, do you get an extra life for that? It's a good thing to do. Maybe you get like an extra 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then all those 10 minutes can add up.
Yeah, I get it. You like get a health meal.
How about an extra day? If extra lives, like you could get an extra day on your life. Like you're like, oh. But then it would be a day at the end of your life, and who wants that?
Yeah, because you're like 100 some odd years old. And you get to be 101. That's true. Thanks, asshole.
That's so true.
Because at that point, you're just like, I just want to go. I just want to go.
Let it go. What did you think? Did you like the theticals?
I do like the theticals, yeah.
Those are some good questions.
So we can hit that.
The hard-hitting
ones. There's 70 of them. We did what?
We did 5.
We did 5. So we can hit that a few times.
We'll go back to that many times.
Yeah.
Hey, if you have hypothetical questions for us, drop it on Coming Up Roses VA on Facebook.
And drop us some cash in the $K-Rose VA.
One of these days you're going to open that cash app.
I know, I keep hoping. Somebody drop $1 in there. Come on. Just $1.
That's just too funny. Oh my gosh.
But like, comment, share. Listen, follow us on Spotify, and even if you don't actually
follow us everywhere.
Yeah.
You only have to watch one or the other, but follow us in both places.
Yeah. And share it with your friends. Let them know. Just because you think, well, they don't know you, why would they want to listen to it? Well, if you're entertained, we might be entertaining somebody else.
Plus, I listen to podcasts just for something to do.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe some people want to.
We started listening to Joe Gatto's got a new one.
Yeah, but we started listening because it was Joe Gatto. I mean, I don't carry that kind of street cred.
No.
So anyway, next week we will post up next week's topic in our Facebook page for hopefully some interaction. Let's get some people in there.
Yeah.
Giving us some feedback, some things to talk about.
What about the subject at hand, and if you have stuff you want us to talk about. Throw it in there. We may not get to it right away, but we will take any suggestions seriously, because we want this not only to just be our diary. We want it to be interactive. So, let us know, folks. And just one last thing, it's been a great year doing this show. We love doing it, but we really love you guys listening to us. So, thank you from the bottom of our hearts for letting us. Talk about our batteries on the road. What in the hell?
Our battery's dying, people.
All right, well, we're going to go. Bye, everybody.
Bye.